Last weekend, former President Barack Obama sat down for a podcast and casually dropped a sentence that broke the internet. They're real, but I haven't seen them. 6 words, that's all it took. Within hours, every corner of the internet was on fire. A former president of the United States just said aliens are real, didn't he? Well, sort of, and sort of not. And that ambiguity is exactly what makes this story so fascinating. Because it's not really about Obama. It's about a question that's been building in Washington for years, one that Congress, the Pentagon, and now 2 presidents are being forced to answer. What does the US government actually know about unidentified objects in our skies? Let's rewind. On Saturday, February 14th, Obama appeared on the No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen podcast. During a quick fire speed round, the kind where you're supposed to answer fast and move on, Cohen asked, "Are aliens real?" Obama's answer, "They're real, but I haven't seen them. They're not being kept at Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy and they hid it from the President of the United States." Cohen didn't follow up. The segment moved on. But the clip didn't. Within 24 hours, the quote was everywhere. Headlines ranged from "Obama confirms aliens" to "Former President drops UFO bombshell." By Sunday night, Obama posted a clarification on Instagram. He wrote, "I was trying to stick with the spirit of the speed round, but since it's gotten attention, let me clarify. Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good. There's life out there. But the distances between solar systems are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low. And I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us." So that's the full picture. Obama believes, statistically, that life probably exists somewhere in the universe. He's not saying little green men are in a hangar in Nevada. But here's the thing, this isn't the first time he's played this card. Back in 2021, Obama told James Corden that one of the first things he did as president was ask about aliens. The answer he got? No secret lab, no spacecraft. But, and this is the part people always come back to, he also said there was footage and records of objects in the sky that the government couldn't explain. Objects that moved in ways that defied easy explanation. That wasn't a joke. And it landed differently than a speed round quip. To understand why Obama's comments hit so hard, you need to understand what's been happening in Washington over the past few years. Because while most people weren't paying attention, the US government quietly went from treating UFOs as a joke to treating them as a national security priority. Let's walk through it. 2017. The New York Times publishes a bombshell report revealing a secret Pentagon program called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP, that had been investigating UFO sightings since 2007. Alongside the article, the Pentagon releases 3 now famous Navy videos showing unidentified objects performing maneuvers that military pilots said defied known physics. Suddenly, UFOs weren't just for conspiracy theorists anymore. Decorated Navy pilots were going on the record saying they'd seen objects that had no visible propulsion, no wings, no exhaust, and were outmaneuvering the most advanced fighter jets on the planet. 2020. The Pentagon officially confirms the Navy videos are authentic and establishes the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. 2022. Congress holds its first public hearing on UFOs in over 50 years. Officials confirm that the government is tracking hundreds of unexplained sightings, and the terminology officially shifts from UFO to UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomena, to reduce stigma and broaden the scope beyond just things in the air. 2022 to 2023. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, is created within the Department of Defense to serve as the government's central UAP investigation hub. And then came the moment that changed everything. July 26, 2023. A hearing room on Capitol Hill. A man named David Grusch sits down at a table, raises his right hand, and swears an oath. Grusch was a former intelligence officer who had worked on the UAP task force. Under oath, he testified that the US government has been running a secret, multi-decade program to retrieve and reverse engineer craft of non-human origin. He said he had been told by multiple officials, people with direct knowledge, that the government possesses not just wreckage, but biological remains of non-human entities, Let that sink in for a second. A vetted intelligence official, cleared by the Intelligence Community Inspector General, sitting in front of Congress, saying the government has alien technology and alien bodies. Now, and this is important, Grusch's testimony was based on what others told him. He said he hadn't personally seen the materials, and the Pentagon pushed back hard. AARO's then director, Sean Kirkpatrick, publicly stated the office had found no verifiable evidence to back up claims of secret retrieval programs. After retiring, Kirkpatrick went further, writing in Scientific American that the entire narrative was essentially a self reinforcing conspiracy theory among true believers. But here's what made the Grusch hearing different from every UFO story that came before it: Congress took it seriously. Bipartisan lawmakers, people like Chuck Schumer, Marco Rubio, Tim Burkett, and Kirsten Gillibrand, didn't laugh it off. They pushed for more. That same year, Senators Schumer and Rounds introduced the UAP Disclosure Act as an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act. It proposed a government wide records collection, modeled on the JFK Records Act, with a presumption of disclosure. It even contemplated the government using eminent domain over any recovered technologies of unknown origin. The most ambitious provisions didn't survive the legislative process. But UAP language did make it into the final defense bill, including a requirement to establish a UAP records collection at the National Archives. If you thought the story would quietly die down, it didn't. In September 2025, the House held another UAP hearing, and this time, the testimony got even more specific. A 23-year active duty Navy senior chief petty officer named Alexandra Wiggins became the first serving military member to publicly testify before Congress about a UAP encounter. He described an incident aboard the USS Jackson in 2023, where his crew observed and recorded a self-luminous, tic-tac shaped object emerging from the ocean, linking up with three other similar objects, and then accelerating away at extraordinary speed with no sonic boom and no conventional propulsion signature. Multiple sensor systems confirmed the sighting. At the same hearing, Representative Eric Burleson publicly showed video for the first time of a U.S. military MQ-9 drone firing a Hellfire missile at a high-speed orb off the coast of Yemen in October 2024. The object appeared to be hit, but it kept going. Meanwhile, a small but growing bipartisan group of lawmakers continued pushing for whistleblower protections, with Representatives Burkett and Luna introducing the UAP Whistleblower Protection Act. The message from Congress was clear: we're not done asking questions.